All right. What's up, everybody? This is your boy Jay coming at you live Wednesday evening here in New York and sharing with you chapter 9 of Your Invisible Power by Genevieve Biren. So here it goes. It's gonna be a two-part chapter. It's a bit of a great story, and for the first half, I'm just going to share straight up from the chapter. I don't think it's a good idea to I believe that it's better for me to just read you the story so that you get the full story about how she came up with $20,000 back in the early 1900s, which is an obscene amount of money, right? And She did a really good job of recounting her story, and so I do not want to dilute it. So let me read the first part of the story. So chapter 9, how I attracted to myself $20,000. In the laboratory of experience in which my newly revealed relation to divine operation was to be tested, the first problem was a financial one. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Songjun. Athanasius, good to have you again, brother. My income was a stipulated one, quite enough for my everyday needs, but it did not seem enough. But it did not seem sufficient to enable me to go comfortably to England, where Troward lived, and remain for an indefinite period to study with so great a teacher as he must be. So before inquiring whether Troward took pupils or whether I would be eligible in case he did, I began to use the paragraph I had memorized. Daily, in fact, almost hourly, the words were in my mind. My mind is a center of divine operation, and divine operation means expansion into something better than has gone before. From the Edinburgh lectures, I had read something about the law of attraction, and from the chapter of causes and conditions, I had gleaned a vague idea of visualizing. So every night before going to sleep, I made a mental picture of the desired 20,000. $21,000 bills were counted over each night in my bedroom. And then, with the idea of more emphatically impressing my mind with the fact that this $20,000 was for the purpose of going to England and studying with Troward, I wrote out my picture, saw myself buying my steamer ticket, walking up and down the ship's deck from New York to London, and finally saw myself accepted as Troward's pupil. Hola Tati, ¿cómo están, Bosem? Good to have you. This process was repeated every morning and every evening, always impressing more and more fully upon my mind Troward's memorized statement. My mind is a center of divine operations. I endeavored to keep this statement in the back part of my consciousness all the time, with no thought in mind as how the money might be obtained. Probably the reason why there was no thought of the avenues through which the money might reach me was because I could not possibly imagine where the $20,000 would come from. So I simply held my thoughts steady and let the power of attraction find its own ways and means. One day, while walking on the street, taking deep breathing exercises, the thought came, my mind is surely a center of divine operation. If God, listen to this very carefully. Hey, what's going on, Jason? If God where do you go? If God fills all space, then God must be in my mind also. If I want this money to study with Troward, then I may know the true the if I want this money to study with Troward, that I may know the truth of life, then both the money and the truth must be mine. Though I am unable to feel or see the physical manifestations of either, still I declared it must be mine. Good to have you, Andrea. So it has so okay. So let me just finish this one paragraph and then I'll go over the insights. While these reflections were going on in my mind, there seemed to come up from within me the thought, I am all the substance there is. Then, from another channel in my brain, the answer seemed to come. Of course, that's it. Everything must have its beginning in my mind. The I, the idea, must be the only one and primary substance there is. And this means money as well as everything else. My mind accepted this idea, and immediately all the tension of mind and body was relaxed. Holy moly, what a chapter. And like I said, guys, I could not dare to summarize it because this storytelling was just masterful. And the story in itself was just so money that I couldn't dilute it. Um, so let's go paragraph by paragraph, and I'll do my best to give you some really good insights. So she says, in the laboratory of experience in which my newly revealed relation to divine operation was to be tested, the first problem was a financial one. The laboratory of experience that she's talking about is the realization that she realizes that each and every single one of us, our minds, your mind, my mind, each every single mind is a center of divine operation. So now, if it's a center of divine operation, it is only right that you test, that you put the test the divine operation, which is always for expansion and fuller expression, just like you're saying. The paragraph, she says, my mind is a center of divine operation, and divine operations means expansion into something better than has gone before. And what is she saying in the story that she was trying to do? She was trying to come up with $20,000 back in the 1900s. Single female lady trying to come up with $20,000 was unheard of. And she says that she was studying Thomas Trower's book, the Edinburgh Lectures, and she read on the chapter titled Causes and Conditions that she read something about visualizing. So every night and every morning, actually, she visualized herself counting $20,000 in her bedroom. Now, she says $21,000 bills. I believe that back in the days, we had $1,000 bills. Do not quote me on this. I don't know. But if she wrote it here, I believe that it was because at the time we had $1,000 bills. Of course, they are not in circulation anymore. But she saw herself every night in her mind counting $21,000 bills. Not only that, she saw herself buying, Gutierrez Felix, buying the steamer ticket. And not only that, she saw herself walking up and down the dock of the ship from New York to London. And she saw herself being accepted as Trower's pupil. And this right here is like a super brief but super masterclass of what visualization is. When you visualize all these details. You see every single little bill that you're counting. You see the ship that you're boarded on. You imagine yourself walking up and down the dock, and you smell the sea, and you feel the slight shaking of the vessel as it's going through the ocean, right? You feel the air, right? And you put all this into your mind morning and night. And she says this process was repeated every morning and every evening, always impressing more and more fully upon my mind Trower's memorized statement. The statement, my mind is a center of divine operation. And she says, I had no idea where the 20,000 was going to come, so I couldn't think about the avenues through which the money was going to come. But what I could do was simply hold steady to the idea and let the power of attraction find its own ways. And one day while she was walking, a deep thought struck her. My mind is surely a center of divine operation. If God fills all space, then God must be in my mind also. If I want this money to study with Trower that I may know the truth of life, then both the money and the truth must be mine. Even though right now I cannot see any physical manifestation, that truth must be mine. And she made the declaration that it must be hers. And the more she deepened these realizations, she realized that everything has a beginning in the mind, in an idea, the big I, an idea, because that idea, and I can see why she stressed the capital I, is because the idea that right now is operating to and through you is the same idea that started literally all manifestations. So I'll show you guys one thing. So if you guys look at over here, this is a stick figure. I explained my stick figure in another video, so I'll leave that for another one. But if you look at what's gonna land, so if you look at my stick figure in the middle, there's a sticker of a flower of life. I don't know if you can see it, so I'll show it to you here like this. So this is the flower of life, okay? And the flower of life basically is a physical is a visual representation of what what was the first conscious drawing of the idea that created everything that we are experiencing today. Now, get this. You have the flower of life, and the flower of life, it was a consciousness, it was an idea, the big I, and that I is operating in you the same as it was operating back when it created the first physical. So basically, it was like this. The flower of life came to be because there was nothing. Then consciousness became aware that it was conscious, and he said, "All right, I want to look to the right." So he looked to the right. Okay, I want to look to the left. So he looked to the left, and he did it in all directions. And then he said, "Okay, so now that I can look, I wonder if I can move to the right." And he took a step, and then literally he took a step, and that's how the flower of life, movement by movement, came about. Now, based on that consciousness and from that movement of consciousness, everything, every physical manifestation started to come about because first it was an idea. And she says here, of course, that's it. Everything must have its beginning in my mind. Why? Because my mind is also a center of divine operation, just like it's a center of divine operation for the initial consciousness. The I, the idea, must be the only one and primary substance there is. You know, there is nowadays there is scientific data that says that what we see physically, it's a tiny portion of all the empty space that we see around us. So it does, I don't, like, we may see like our hands as being solid and our walls and all that stuff, but all that stuff, it is scientifically proven that it's just a portion, it's a tiny portion of all the space there is in this universe. So think about that. That right there is giving you the idea that the only one and primary substance there is the idea. Meaning that money or everything else, whatever that is, has its beginning on an idea, on the idea. The moment that her mind accepted this idea, all her tension went away in her mind as well as in her body. And so I'll leave my insights for the day there, because I know that it was a lot of information that flew right, like all over you guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to post it in the comments. I will make sure that I jump back in and answer them. Either that, or you can hop on over to my Phenomenal Paradigm. What's going on, Eric? You can hop on over to my Phenomenal Paradigm private Facebook group. If you want the link, send me a DM. I'll send you the link to join the group. And I share deeper insights on the Facebook group. However, what I really want you guys to take today as a practical, for practical reasons, because like I always say, I give you practical things that you can put into use, is that every morning and night, you start to visualize exactly what it is that you want. And like, don't be silly on this, and don't shortchange yourself. If you're visualizing, visualize a full picture, visualize a full movie that really gets you emotionally connected to that vision. If you want $20,000, don't just visualize the 20,000. She gives you the keys to the kingdom here. She visualized $20,000, and she started with counting $20,000 in her bedroom every night and every morning. But not just that, she saw herself buying the ticket of the steamer boat which she wanted to board to travel to England. And not just that, she pictured herself being on the boat, walking up and down the dock. And imagine all the beautiful scenery and pictures and smells and sensations that you're going to be feeling when you are walking up and down the dock of a huge steamer boat that's going from New York to London back in the 1900s. And not only that, she saw herself gaining a mentorship from Thomas Troward, who she really wanted to be mentored by. So that is my invitation to you guys. Let me know what you think. Share your thoughts with me. Put it in the comments. And like I said, if you want deeper insights, make sure you hop on over to the Phenomenal Paradigm private Facebook group, where I share deeper insights. Instagram family, make sure that you hop on over to my bio. There's a link tree link where that's going to direct you to my Phenomenal Paradigm Facebook group. So welcome everybody to the Deeper Insights. And as always, guys, love you to death. I appreciate the heck out of you for investing precious time of your day to listen to my insights and take something practical from me. I always do my best to give you the best insights I can come out with at my current level of awareness. And let's grow together. That is my invitation. So until the next one, thank you, everybody. Much love. Until then, this was your boy Jay, and peace out. Later, everybody. Take care.